We acknowledge that Tri-Cities Community Television operates on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Coquitlam First Nation. We thank the Coquitlam who continue to live on these lands and care for them along with the waters and all that is above and below. Welcome to Tri-Cities Community Television. I'm Cathy. We are here at the Poirier Library, and we'd like to thank the library for donating this space today. And we are continuing with our election series. The election is October 17th, 2026. And with me in the studio today is Mithila Karnik, running for City of Port Coquitlam. Welcome to the studio, and thanks for being here.
It's so lovely to see you again, Cathy, as always.
Thank you. So let's just jump right in it. Mithila, why are you running for the City of Port Coquitlam?
When I ran in 2022, I ran with the intention of wanting to make a difference. And what I realized at that point in time was the fact that I had a fairly clean slate. So it was time for me to build up that slate just so I could be a stronger candidate. I'm operating from a space of sheer love, not just for the city, but also the community that gave me home and, in a sense, gave me roots. I am now mother to a 6-year-old who attends elementary in Port Coquitlam. I have done a lot of work that has helped me strengthen my ties to the community. Mm-hmm. So I believe this would be the natural next step.
Well, that's fantastic. It's great that we're going to see your name on the ballot again this coming year. What is one issue that you believe matters most to Port Coquitlam residents?
Port Coquitlam's official community plan and their strategy, all of their milestones that they've put together for last year shows that there is 34% of population in Port Coquitlam that wasn't born in the city. And that demographic is going to keep changing. And I believe it is extremely important that we speak to that growing demographic, give them exactly what they need, apart from just ensuring that the city runs as smoothly as possible. The council has done some fantastic work. I believe the Port Coquitlam City Council is naturally very clued into the needs of the community, but a different route forward is the need of the hour, and that requires a different way of working and representation at the end of the day as well.
Mm-hmm. If elected, what would be your top 3 priorities for Port Coquitlam?
My top 3 priorities, and they're outlined on my platform as well, would be to make POCO for families. Families need to continue to stay in Port Coquitlam. Housing and affordability is a huge concern. That is something that I would lend my voice and focus to as being on council. My second priority would be to really advocate for the beautiful downtown that we have spent and invested in for the past so many years. Mm-hmm. Now that it's there, it's our responsibility to ensure that it sees the next phase of infrastructure and development, and that we have the sustainability to keep businesses in downtown as well. Mm-hmm. And then, to a certain extent, working on the accessibility inclusion plan. We have inclusion language in the plan, but what that really needs is action, and action that has a voice at the table. So these would be my top 3 priorities.
That's fantastic. Sounds very thorough. You mentioned housing. Of course, it's a major concern. How do we balance growth, affordability, and protecting the character of Port Coquitlam?
It is very, clearly identified in the official community plan that I am working off as well. The city states that they are prepared for public engagement and draft plans. What that requires is a voice that is very closely tied into the community. I am living in a condo very close to downtown Port Coquitlam. We are, without a doubt, a family that needs 2 incomes and more, possibly, in order to move forward in life. And that, to me, is the population of Port Coquitlam right now. The demographic is very different in what it was in 2006. And that, to me, is a huge concern, because we need to be speaking to the population that currently makes up the heart and breath of the city.
Exactly. So what are your thoughts then on density and development and the infrastructure? Do you think that Port Coquitlam can keep up with the pace?
Keeping up with the pace is something that would be determined by how the new council decides on a lot of important issues that are currently rampant in the city. The fact that there is a lack of single family homes, that is a huge concern. We are catering to the condo market. How would that keep young families in the city? How would that keep grandparents together with their grandkids? And we don't want them to move away from the city. So that would be a primary concern.
You're all about families.
Yes.
That's great. What are your plans around community safety and mental health and even emergency preparedness?
I think Port Coquitlam is ahead of the curve as far as all of these elements are concerned. The city council that is currently sitting has made some very smart decisions about how they work around mental health. We recently had Foundry that opened in Port Coquitlam, which is a huge win for the community. I find that we are going in the right direction. Community safety, mental health, issues like these, especially with the demographic in Port Coquitlam right now, need a lot of cultural nuance. They need a lot of understanding. They need a lot of inputs from communities that may not necessarily have been a part of the planning conversation. And that is very important to me, to lay focus on communities that would really benefit from having a layer of cultural nuance, even language in terms of accessibility, to be able to make use of those services.
It seems like a lot of the cities in the Tri-Cities, there's always traffic and transit and parking issues. What solutions would you champion in these areas?
In terms of parking, I believe we could be very imaginative in ways we could use space. Let's be real, the density in Port Coquitlam is just going to keep increasing. People would want to move to a city, that's family friendly. At the end of the day, has a very big community spirit as well. So there is no way we'd even want to keep people away from Port Coquitlam, right? That's how the economy is going to grow, and that's how we're going to see this vibrant community just getting better and better. But in terms of issues like parking, I would say having a bit of a global exposure to how smaller cities, not just in Canada, but let's widen the lens a little bit and take into account how smaller cities all over the world are dealing with parking problems, would be something that I would want to at least bring to the table in terms of a conversation.
We're going to shift the questioning to a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your leadership style and what you would bring to council.
Leadership style is such an interesting question. One of the things that I have really prided myself on is the fact that I am extremely coachable. I actively seek out mentors, and that has paved the way for how I'm able to conduct myself, may it be difficult situations, different circumstances, and different groups of people. My leadership style is centered around empathy because, in all honesty, that is what my initial experience as a new immigrant was lacking in. There was very little empathy for me to center myself around. As somebody who is, for the lack of a better term, been there, done that, seen the dark side and the reality of what it means to be a newcomer and an immigrant and literally starting from the ground up, my leadership style would be really centered around being able to have open conversations, have open doors, and understand lived experience. I feel like that goes a very long way in having conversations with people.
A lot of people in different residents, especially in Port Coquitlam, they feel maybe disconnected from municipal politics. How would you improve transparency and public engagement when it comes to that?
I think that would be, at this point as well, it is the focus of my campaign, really is how transparent and how vocal we are in terms of including everybody who is in Port Coquitlam and not just, the small number of people who step out to vote. I think that is something that I would take on as a personal responsibility, is how many doors am I able to reach actively, and not just how many voices find their way to me. So to me, having a sense of transparency is being proactive in terms of approaching and having conversations rather than wait for conversations to come to me.
That's great. You go to the people.
Yes.
Right? Yes. What is one thing that you absolutely love about Port Coquitlam, and why?
This is such a loaded question, Cathy, because in all honesty, there is so much that I love about the city. Again, I came to this country as somebody who was forced to start from scratch. And I take that, it's taken me a lot of time to lose that baggage because it is emotional baggage at the end of the day. But in Port Coquitlam, I found myself being given the space to thrive and the ability to be included. And I want that for everybody. I may not fit the stereotype of, South Asians, and I am I'm very frank about that. But I want to be the voice and, the person in place for everybody who feels disconnected. Port Coquitlam gave me that safe space to thrive, and it also gave me, I want to say, it empowered me to bring South Asian culture to the civic calendar. And that to me is a very huge achievement, where now things are not just advocated for, but they are enjoyed, and there is healthy assimilation. And that is something that I will always owe to the city.
That's great. What do you think a misconception is that people have about municipal government?
I think the biggest misconception would be the fact that a lot of decisions take place behind closed doors. I want to let people know that that is not the case. If you are proactive about seeking information, municipal politics would really just help you be included in that. I can speak very confidently about the city of Port Coquitlam in this aspect. The population has access to council meetings, to committee of council meetings. Everything is updated on the website for citizens to make themselves aware of. Decisions are not taken in silos and are not entirely, made for a certain group's benefit. That's what I'd like people to know, that the more you make yourself invested in municipal politics on a day-to-day basis, it's going to give you the answers.
I think that people do need to be informed, and if they're not informed, I feel they should not complain.
Absolutely, yes.
So tell me something that voters may not know about you.
This is hard. I'm most likely going to give this, a fun spin, but what voters may not know about me is the fact that I'm a voracious reader. I read over 70 to 75 books a year. Please don't ask me how I get the time. I feel like there's books everywhere at home, right from, the washroom to the kitchen table. So
we are not talking about books that you read to your daughter, right?
No, absolutely not. She has her own reading list.
I thought my husband reading 60 books a year was phenomenal, but you have overpassed that. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's incredible. If you had, I'm going to give you 1 minute and tell people why they should vote for you. Why should you get their vote on the ballot on October 17th?
Port Coquitlam has 34% of population currently sitting that was not born in this city. We made our way here. I am one of those 34%. What I'm asking for now is the fact that the times are changing. We are going to see ourselves in a whole different reality and a whole different world months from now, if not years, right? I want to ensure that I speak for everybody who calls Port Coquitlam home. I am deeply invested in supporting families. I'm deeply invested in keeping our downtown alive for years to come. And I'm very deeply invested in harboring technology and the right use of it to make our city very much future forward. That is why I believe City of Port Coquitlam should vote for me.
And where can they find out more about your platform, Mithila?
My platform is www.karnikforpoco.ca. That's Karnik, the number 4, POCO.ca.
Well, that's fantastic. Today we heard from Mithila Karnik. She's running for the city of Port Coquitlam again. Will she make it this time around? Only time will tell, but we do know that she's a person that is very much rooted into the family and the community of Port Coquitlam. You're watching Cathy Cena at Tri-Cities Community Television in the election series. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.